I am heading to a outdoor venue. We're doing bike week. I believe it started yesterday, but I had a acoustic gig that I had to do, so I couldn't start yesterday. Good news is my AC broke last night, so I slept really well. It was only 88 degrees in my house, no big deal, but it was pretty funny. Last night I was talking to the guy I was playing acoustic with, and I said, you know, I'm kind of used to the heat now from working outside, and I think I cursed myself and broke my AC when I got home. It was terrible, but at the same time I was kind of used to it, I guess. But anyway, let's get started. Here we are at the venue, and it is an outdoor show. This is the setup that we're going to go with today. The subs that we are using today are the RCF 8008s, and there's going to be 4 of those, 2 per side, and they are dual 18. And for tops, we'll be using the HDL10. This is going to be my area today. I'm going to be using the X32 console. And the front of house will be using the M32 console. And this is the stage distribution box for power. What that does is it brings a 220 line down to a level that can be used for our instruments. Here's the first band's official hand-drawn stage plot. So let's get to work. My role today is that I'm going to be the monitor engineer, and then I'll be trying to set up most of the equipment between changes of the bands. Normally you would just hang this microphone, but for some of these changeovers we're going to try to run it on a stand so that there's less of a chance of musicians stepping on them while they're setting up their gear. The first thing I'm going to do after everybody's kind of set up, I kind of go one by one and I set the gain levels. Then I move on to the monitors so that we can set up each person so they can have their individual mix so they can hear themselves and the band appropriately.
Can you play your guitar? Yeah, he wasn't mic'd up yet. I had it sitting there, but I didn't lower it yet.
At the same time that I'm doing a lot of this, the front of house engineer, which is Matt in this case, he'll be doing the same thing. I'm sitting right behind the subs and these speakers tonight, and you can see the decibel level. Now these apps aren't super accurate, but they do give you a pretty good idea. I check real quick to make sure the band is good, and we are ready to play. For gigs like these, you kind of just eat when you can, and because it's windy, I'm going to be eating on the ground, but I'm using my iPad so I can still be aware and fixing issues quickly if something were to happen. Over 90 degrees out, but I got this nice shade. I've got my vacation hat on, my sunglasses, and my vacation shirt. Honestly, white long sleeves are a lifesaver in the sun. The first band is on break right now, and the event's going really well. So we'll check in again after the next set. This will be the next band that is playing. It is Andy Ross. I'll hop on the stage like a gazelle as a guitar player tries to knock himself out on his microphone. One of the main things that you're going to be doing when you're setting up these bands is really just communicating with the musicians and finding out what they need. It's really nice to build a rapport with the musicians that you're working with, to build that trust level so that they understand that you know what you're doing and that you're there for them and you want them to have a great show. Some people today are going to be using wedges and some are going to be using in-ear monitors. And while it's a little difficult to guess what they can hear in their ears, they still want to meet a mix for them.
All right.
I should have brought my own in-ears so that I could just use it and hit a monitor so that I could hear what they were hearing, but we just didn't have it set up this day.
Okay, but you can hear it? Yeah. Okay, I was making sure because I muted everybody else so we could mess with you.
Another great option is I could have used my Audio Technica headphones and plugged into his pack. The drummer seems to be having an issue when he's hitting the kick pedal, and he wanted me to hear it, so he handed me his headphones. I thought it might be the connection because it did seem kind of loose, but I couldn't get it to replicate when I was shaking it. So the first thing I do is I kind of look at the settings and make sure there isn't like a weird gate or anything getting in the way. And the front of house engineer, Matt, noticed I was having issues and he wasn't busy, so he hopped in to assist. His first thought was that it was gain related and it was distortion due to it clipping.
And I believe I've got, this is a low end, so it's pretty much back.
He also didn't like how loose the cable was, so he just had me go grab another cable. Now this is where your throwing skills come in. Bam! Look at that, like a pro. However, I get this mess of cables. That's alright, I'll just wrap it up and I'll put it aside for now. The cable may not be bad, it may just not be a good fit for whatever unit he's using. And looks like that fixed the issue. We're good to go, and he's happy. Next, the guitar player is not liking how his voice is sounding in the wedge. I'm just gonna check out his gain level and his EQ to make sure everything looks okay. A lot of times when you're doing monitors, you do a low cut, which helps with low end feedback. And so I dropped that completely off, and it wasn't changing. So after trying a few things and it not getting any better, I decided it was time to swap out his microphone, and that was the problem. It's just a bad microphone. Here you can see the front of house from my point of view, and you can see all the people watching the show. It's a really cool venue. I've run sound here a few times inside and outside. I don't know if I'd be comfortable up that high, but I'm sure it's a great view. And since there's bike week, here's all the motorcycles. And here's the plot for the last band, and we're gonna go ahead and set them up.
Main vocal, harmonica.
Okay, what are the numbers?
Harmonica is 3, but we put it on this side.
Cool. What's the main vocal? 2?
Yeah. So they don't have to cross the cables.
I've got to get myself down from here. There's our bass line, that's it. Hey, is that our bass line? Thank you.
It's good to meet you, man.
Thank both of you guys. Thank you. Hey, y'all still have anything pretty much saved from last night?
No, I raced that shit because I was like, let's make it real hard.
Get it, dude, get it. I love the way you work.
Now the equipment isn't all out here because they're using things like harmonicas. So what I'm gonna be doing, instead of doing like a regular check, what I'm going to use is a microphone so I can just do a line check to make sure that all the signals are actually there and they're all in the appropriate places so we're ready to set up quickly. All I'm going to do is tap on it and it shows me that I have signal and everything is working as it should. And so when the band is ready, it's an easy setup.
What's up, brother?
Now I have no idea why my iPad wasn't locked so it would quit rotating. There's really no reason I would ever need it to rotate. A lot of people do use Mixing Station, but I find that the regular app is just fine. Let's check out the motorcycles and what they look like at night. Now, at first I thought he just dumped his bike, but apparently he's got some bars on the back that keep it from getting all scratched up when they lay it down like that. Man down, we have our first casualty, a mic stand. I don't even know how this happened. It must have fell over at some point when the bands were doing changeover. Once everything was running smoothly and the guys didn't need any adjustments, I went ahead and went out to the front of house. I had my iPad on me just in case somebody pointed out that they needed something. That way I could help them. We just finished up for the night. We had 4 bands, 4 quick changeovers. We ended up going a little bit longer than we needed to. Some of the bands ran long and we just, Jesus.
So you want to be a sound guy, huh?
It was a great night though. Everybody was really nice and everybody in the bands were really easy to work with. Thank you for joining me in this gig for bike night where I was working basically in a sauna all night. I wish I would have got more videos at the end for teardown, but I didn't because I'm dumb. Please make sure you're liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this content or got anything useful out of it. I do a lot of gigs. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. Sometimes I'm the player, and sometimes I'm the sound guy. We'll check you out in the next video.